Hello and welcome everyone to my channel Rakibul Mathness. Today I'm going to be teaching you about quadrilaterals. Basically it's any shape with four sides. In this video we're going to be learning how to calculate the area and classify them. First up we've got a square. A square has to have two pairs of parallel lines. Now you might be asking, what are parallel lines? Well, parallel lines are any pair of lines which go in the exact same direction. So if you stretch them to infinity, they won't ever intersect or meet each other. Or in layman terms, go on top of each other. Now let's bring back our square. And as I mentioned, there are two pairs of parallel lines. Here's the second pair. And now a square must also have all sides that are equal. All its four sides must be equal. And the next condition is for all the angles to be 90 degrees. I've got a protractor here which can measure, and according to the protractor all of them are 90 degrees. So this must be a square. Next we've got a rectangle. A rectangle also must have two sets of parallel lines. And you can tell which ones are the parallel lines now, since you know what they are. Opposite sides must also be equal. Yeah, that's as we can see here. And all angles must also be 90 degrees. Next, we've got a rhombus. A rhombus must also have two sets of parallel lines. Remember, parallel lines doesn't necessarily have to be straight. It can bend a bit, but it cannot curve. All sides must be equal like the square, and opposite angles must be equal. There's another thing which I forgot to mention here. The points which the diagonals meet are right angles. Now we've got a parallelogram. You might want to practice saying that. It also has two sets of parallel lines, and opposite sides are equal, and opposite angles are also equal. Now we've got here a trapezium according to British English, and the trapezoid according to American English. This shape has to have only one pair of parallel lines. As you can see, the top and the bottom one are parallel, but not the side ones. This type of trapezium has a special name, an isosceles trapezium, which the two remaining sides, which are not parallel, are equal, like this one. Some other ones you might find one is straight and the other one's bent. This shape in American English is called a trapezium. Sorry to confuse you guys, and yeah. Next we've got a kite. A kite is a, a shape with four sides, and it doesn't have any parallel sides, but its two close sides, the sides which are touching each other, are equal. The two top ones and the two bottom ones. The orange sides are equal and the red sides are equal. Only one pair of, not necessarily one pair, at least one pair of angles needs to be equal. The diagonals intersect at 90 degrees, as you can measure here. Next, we've got the quadrilateral family tree. So basically, anything that's under it is it, which I'll explain in a few minutes. Basically, a trapezium, a parallelogram, and a kite are a quadrilateral, and rectangles are a parallelogram. You might be wondering why. Remember, a parallelogram is any shape that has two sets of parallel lines and the sides are opposite. The opposite sides are equal, and all and opposite angles are equal as well, which is true in the case of a rectangle and a rhombus. So both of these are parallelograms. Now a rhombus can also be a kite as well as being a parallelogram. Why can a rhombus be a kite? Because its diagonals intersect at 90 degrees. It has two angles that are opposite and equal, while a kite needs to have at least one. Adjacent or close sides are equal because all of them are equal. And yeah, that's the reason why a rhombus is a kite. Now a square, which is the most special of them all, is a rhombus, a rectangle, a kite, and a parallelogram. And most importantly, a quadrilateral. It's a rectangle because opposite sides are equal and all angles are 90 degrees. It's a rhombus because all sides are equal and opposite angles are equal. Diagonals bisect at 90 degrees, just like what the kite's description is. So remember this, a square is a kite, a square is a rhombus, a square is a rectangle, a square is also a parallelogram. A rectangle is a parallelogram, a rhombus is a parallelogram, a rhombus is also a kite. A kite, a parallelogram, and trapeziums are all quadrilaterals. So let's move on to part 2 of this video, finding the area of quadrilaterals. Let's start off with the square. So in a mathematical form, the square's formula would look like this. A equals to a square. The A here means the area. And the lowercase a, is the red side. So to find the area, you just square that side. In a visual form, square equals line times line. For a rectangle, it's A equals to LW, or in words, area equals to length times width. Or in visual form, now a rhombus, this is area. It's got two formulas. The first formula is a bit more complicated. A equals to diagonal 1 times diagonal 2 over 2. The half of the first diagonal times the second diagonal. And in visual form, sorry, I made a mistake there. The visual form, after you multiply those two, you have to divide 2. Now, the second formula for rhombus, if you don't have the diagonals and you have the height instead and the base, you can just do A equals to BH, or area equals to base times the height. In visual form, now parallelogram, you'll usually have the height and the base. And the same formula, A equals BH and area equals to base times the height, or in visual form. Now the So next we have the trapezium or the trapezoid, and we need the height, the base, and the top. In mathematical form, we can write it as A equals to A plus H over 2, or in word form, area equals to the mean of the parallel lines times the height. The mean, we mean the average. In a visual form, the trapezium equals to the blue part plus the red part, multiplied by the green part, all of this divided by 2. I made another mistake here, I'm sorry again. And next we have the kite. For a kite is similar to the rhombuses. You multiply the first diagonal times the second diagonal over 2. In visual form, divide 2. I, I forgot a lot of divides. I'm really sorry. I hope you guys understand. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel and press the like button and leave down a comment. Thank you for watching my videos. Again and see you in the next video. Make sure to check the worksheets I send in the comment section below.